Hi guys, it's Jessica here. Just working on a little purse. Actually, it's an SD purse, so it's a little bit of a bigger size leather purse that's maybe going to be Hurla's. Working on some stitching, so I'm almost done. And I figured while I was working on some of the hand sewing here, I would just chat and have a little video. I've been seeing some of the videos that people have been making, this buying versus doing thing, and I definitely have that kind of guilt, that buying versus doing guilt, where or just the karma, the buying versus doing karma or whatever. And I don't know, I get it. I mean, it's a very consumer hobby, really. And so that's kind of goes along with it. And I've always been a really creative person myself. And so I tend to just not feel satisfied with myself and the things I'm doing if I'm not creating and producing things. And that's not how everybody is or needs to be. You know, that's me. So I've gotten a lot more into the doing part of the hobby myself than I had initially, and part of that is just being able to, you know, if I had more free time, or the health, because I had health issues that was stopping me from doing a lot of things earlier when I first got into the hobby. I've been in the hobby about a year and a half, I guess, something like that. And but the other thing that's really good for making you do more doing instead of buying is when you don't have any money. So when you're broke and you just can't afford to be buying anything, you want something new for your doll, but you can't afford it. And well, you got to make something. So I have this craft room that I was been collecting a lot of crafts because I had just recently started getting into that, and I got to a point like that. It's like, you know, I have all these things that I have been working on and getting so that I could start making things, face ups and sewing stuff, and I'm like, well, or if I want something, I have to make it. So that's helpful, is just plain not having the money to buy something and having to try to make it yourself. Some things, depending on what it is, can be really expensive, and sometimes making it, you can make it for a fraction of the expense. But a lot of what I did too is just, well, these are the things that I have, what can I make? And I might not always have the perfect thing on hand, but that's part of the creative challenge too, I think. And that's, well, I have these things, what can I do? It's like a little puzzle. So I'm rambling. I'm kind of concentrated on I'm poking these holes for my sewing around the front here. I don't know if you can see that at all with my little leather punch thing, which is, I just love this thing. I don't know about this design. I wish I would have done some little more gold highlights on the fish itself, and I might try to go ahead and try to add some of these gold threads in there, but we'll see. But as far as people feeling, I know I think there's guilt whenever you buy. A lot of times we feel guilty that we bought something and we have to make up for it somehow. I don't know. But, you know, if you are showing your creativity by dressing up your doll and putting together the perfect outfit, whether you bought that, I mean, I think that still takes like creativity, is that you arranged it. So I don't think that's any less valid. Or if you send your dolls out to have their face up. I'm just starting to get a lot more want to do things myself. So I'm not going to stress if my dolls sit up on the shelf for several weeks or months or whatever while I deal with things that are going on in real life. Um, and sometimes that's happened, and I'll go in and I'll kind of put them in some different poses. I mean, that might be all I have time for, and then I'll feel pretty happy just having done that. And that'll be my doing. Um, it's kind of fun and exciting also to have a doll on the way, but it's also, that's a bit stressful too. Um, I don't know. Having doll, I I say this now, but I'm happy to wait before I buy another doll. Like, I don't want any more long waits for dolls and stressing about the doll that's gonna come, and I kind of feel like I need a break from that. I say that now. And then next week I'll be posting a video of some other bad thing that I did. But yeah, you know, I think just I do feel sad when people are suddenly selling all their dolls. And sorry, lots of pausing. I'm always getting up to look for something. I needed this to thread this gold embroidery thread because it frays really bad. And anyways, so lots of pausing. Anyways, I was saying it does make me kind of sad when I see somebody selling off their dolls because it's not inspiring them or whatever. And you know, I shouldn't say that, but because sometimes it's just, if you want to get another doll, that means you're going to have to sell one because these are pricey. These are pricey things, pricey items. So I understand that. But it's okay to just have the doll be a pretty doll too, and just be something that you have, and then save up for the one that maybe matches your character better or whatever that is. I got rid of my mini fee after a year. I still loved her as a pretty doll, but she just wasn't filling any role, and she was my direct route to getting a doll that I was going to make use of immediately. So I did trade her in that situation. But I also would have been, if that situation hadn't happened, I probably would have kept her indefinitely, really. So, I mean, I do understand that sometimes that's just the only way, and people need to do that, but I'd rather keep all my dolls if I could. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of really rambling. I'm really tired. So my talking is probably a little bit not as organized as it could be. But so I can't drink wine, but here's a glass of water. my big luxury is to have like a soda or some tea. So, but I've rambled enough. I kind of lost my track. Still working on the purse. And some straps. Someday it'll get there. All right, thank you.